performance actually looks perfect.
No, it is not. And you know what? You're leading the service. This is not a performance.
Yeah.
Performances need to be perfect.
Yeah, I've done performances.
Right. You don't need to be perfect for this.
Yeah.
You have a secret. Let me.
Microphone's it's on. It's on. It's on. And microphones are on. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie.
Page 192, Ma Tovu.
Ma tovu, Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Ma tovu, Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Vani berov astecha avu vaytecha eshtachavi elecha kodecha beyirotecha ma tovu Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Ma tovu, Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Adonai Avti Be'on Betecha U'makom Mishkan Kevodecha V'ani Ashtachavi Be'echa Evrecha Lifnei Adonai Osi Ma tovu Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Ma tovu Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Vani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov astecha Haneini bemet yeshecha Ma tovu Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael. Ma tovu Olacha Yaakov, Olacha Yaakov, Mishkenotacha Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
And welcome to Temple David on this beautiful Shabbat morning. And do you want to know why it's beautiful?
Because we are here?
Because you're here.
Yes.
I feel excited because you're here. It's a beautiful morning, and thank you to all of you who are joining us on Temple David TV on our live streaming. It's lovely to have you here. I can see that there are a few of you online. The computer's over there, and I can see who's, but there's the camera, and we've got multiple camera angles, close-ins and far shots. But I am also delighted that you are here for us, and you're here, some of you are here to remember loved ones, for celebrations of birthdays, but whatever your reason, and some of it just because it is Shabbat. And whatever brings you here, we are grateful. To Mel and Eric, welcome. I know you're waiting for your family to arrive. I'm sure they will all, like little ducklings, come in very, very soon. So that that they're here, so they will come soon. I would like to acknowledge the Wajak people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional custodians of this country and its waters, and that Temple David stands on Noongar country. We pay our respects to Noongar elders past and present, and acknowledge their wisdom and advice, just as we respect and acknowledge the wisdom and advice of our elders past and present. Let us join together on page 194 for Asher Yatzah, the blessing for our bodies. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher yatza et ha'adam b'chokhmah uberavo nekavim chalulim chalulim galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chavodecha she'im yipateach echad mehem או יסתם אחד מהם, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה, אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. We turn forward to page 198 as Daniel Flink will lead us in the Nisim B'chol Yom. So Dan's bar mitzvah is not till next year, but as you know, we like to encourage B'nai Mitzvah students who participate in the service. Okay.
Baruch
That's right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasifi v'nai lahavchin b'yom uvein laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Raka ha'aretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzadei gavel.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hanoten le'ya'ef koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hama'avir na'meinai u'numa me'afapai.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael b'gvura.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oteh Yisrael b'tifara.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו לעסוק בדברי Torah. Yesher koach. Beautiful. Well done, Dan.
Good.
You can go have a seat. Look at the smile on your dad's face. On page 204. V'harevna Adonai Eloheinu et divrei Toratcha befinu uvafiamcha Beit Yisrael. V'nihye nachnu v'tzetzaenu v'tzetzaemcha Beit Yisrael. Kulanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei Toratecha lishma. Baruch atah Adonai hamlamei Torah la'amo Yisrael. And just a short reading this morning for the study of Torah, as we've done the blessing and the subsequent reading, but this is from Rabbi Herbert Bronstein. I didn't know Rabbi Herbert Bronstein, but I knew his daughter, who's also a rabbi, and she was a rabbi in Boulder, Colorado, where I spent a summer at a temple at Har Shalom, the mountain. So Boulder, Colorado is very mountainous, and the synagogue, the shul's name was Har Shalom, the mountain of peace. It was a very hippie-ish place. Needless to say, I did not fit in. I'm the least hippie person you could probably find as a rabbi. So this is a reading from Rabbi Bronstein. I don't think, so Rabbi Bronstein would have been a very formal kind of rabbi, and his daughter was very hippie, so the covenant calling and covenant work goes on in each act of teaching and learning of the Torah, through which at the same time God is still being revealed. So it's really very short, very pithy, but very meaningful, the talk of the Torah learning, which is continuous in everything that we do and everything that can be. Let us turn forward to page 214, to Tzaddik Katamar. Gina, I wouldn't usually say this, but how would you feel about, are you doing Mizmor Shir?
No, we cut that up, but we can do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing it since Amy and Ashley are not here yet.
Okay.
And I'd like to maybe...
Yeah, because we don't have Ashrei, yeah.
Yeah, and if Kai can come, just kind of like filling in some time for Kai to arrive.
Maybe. Okay, we'll do Mizmor Shir and Tzaddik Katamar, yes. I'm always happy to do more singing.
Mel, do you want to just make sure that they're on their way? They are on their way? So we can... I'd like for you to see Kai do Ashrei. That would be very meaningful.
Mizmor Shir then. Mizmor Shir l'yom HaShabbat, tov lehodot le'Adonai, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונה בלילות, עלי יעשו ועלינו, ועלי היגיון בחינו. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך רונן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. איש ברור לא ידע, וחסר לא יבין את זאת. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. צדיק כתמה יפרח, יפרח, צדיק כתמה יפרח, צדיק כתמה יפרח, יפרח, צדיק כתמה יפרח, כרס בלבנון יזכה, כרס בלבנון יזכה, כרס בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. כרס בלבנון יזכה, כרס בלבנון יזכה, כרס בלבנון יזכה, יזכה. שתולים בבית אדוני, אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני, אדוני, שתולים בבית אדוני. בחצות אלוהינו, בחצות אלוהינו, בחצות אלוהינו יפרחו. בחצות אלוהינו, בחצות אלוהינו, בחצות אלוהינו יפרחו. אות ינבון בשיבה, אות ינבון בשיבה, אות ינבון בשיבה, אות ינבון בשיבה. תשיינים ברעננים, תשיינים ברעננים, תשיינים ברעננים יהיו. תשיינים ברעננים, תשיינים ברעננים, תשיינים ברעננים יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, אדוני, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, אדוני, להגיד כי ישר אדוני. צורי ולא הפלטה בו, צורי ולא הפלטה בו, צורי ולא הפלטה בו. צורי ולא הפלטה בו, צורי ולא הפלטה בו, צורי ולא הפלטה בו. How is that for timing?
Perfect timing. Need a deep breath. We continue with Ashrei on page 215.
Ashrei yoshvei beitecha od yachalelu chesela. Ashrei ha'am shekacha lo. Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai Elohav techila leDavid amra mimcha Elohai ha'melech va'avacha shimcha le'olam v'ed b'chol yom. Avachecha ve'adonai shimcha le'olam v'ed gadol Adonai u'mehal me'od v'ligdulato en cheke.
Dole dor yishabach ma'asecha u'gvurtecha yagidu.
Hada kavod hodecha v'divrei nivodecha asicha
ve'ezuz noratecha yomeru ugdulatecha asaprena.
Zecherav tuvacha yabiu v'tzidkatecha yiranenu.
Chanun barachum Adonai Erev apayim ugdal chesed.
Tov Adonai lachol v'rachamav v'chol ma'aseh. Yiduch Adonai kol ma'asecha v'chatecha yivarucha. Kavod malchutecha yomeru ugvuratecha yidaberu
Lahodia livnei hadam gvuratav muchot hadam malchuto.
Malchutecha malchut kol olamim umen shotecha b'chol dovado. Somech Adonai l'chol hakufim
v'zokev l'chol hakufim.
Einei kol eilecha yisaberu v'ata noten lahem et ochlam beitcha.
Poteach et yadecha u'masbiach l'chol charason.
Tzadik Adonai b'chol devrachav v'chesed b'chol ma'asav.
Karov Adonai
l'chol karov,
l'chol asher yikra'u be'emet.
B'tzon yirav yaseh v'tshonetam yishma v'yoshiem
Shomer Adonai et kol ohavav ve'et kol hashmim
yashmim. Techil Adonai yadaber פי ויורך כל בשר שם קודשו עולם ועד ואנחנו נברך מעתה ועד עולם.
Hallelujah. Shacharit. See, you can do it on the fly. Well done.
Well done.
Have a seat. Get a prayer book because you're also going to do via half day in a little bit. Well done, Kai. I'm suddenly losing my voice a little bit. Can you hear? We're going to continue with Psalm 150, 218. So, Gina, I'm going to be back in a second.
Okay, cool. Hallelujah, 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 el bakocho, hallelujah, bekia uzo, hallelujah, bekvaratav, hallelujah, kerov kudlo, hallelujah, 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 batay kashafa, hallelujah, banay v'vacheno, hallelujah, batof u'machol, hallelujah, b'mim v'ugaf, hallelujah, 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 b'tzetz le'shama, hallelujah, b'tzetz le'toah, kol hanshama te'halleluya, hallelujah, hallelujah. And please join me on page 223 in the English halfway down the page. You shall always be praised, great and holy God, our sovereign in heaven and on earth. Songs of praise and psalms of adoration become you, acknowledging your might and your dominion. Yours are strength and sovereignty, sanctity, grandeur, and glory always. We offer our devotion, open our hearts in acclamation. Baruch atah Adonai, El Melech Gadol Batishbachot, El Haodaot, Adon Haniflaot, Habocher B'shirei Zimra, Melech El Chai HaOlamim. Please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish on the next page, 224. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzeu uverei choshech Osei shalom, shalom uverei et hakol. Yotzeu uverei choshech, Osei shalom, shalom uverei et hakol. Daniel, do you want to join us up here and read something? No? Come on. English reading, yeah, it's not. How deeply? From there.
From how deeply
To there, yes. And then you're going to read that bit at the bottom. But start there for now.
How
deeply?
How deeply you have loved us, eternal our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion on account of our forebears, who trust led you to teach them the laws of life. Be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, may have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah.
Please join us at the bottom of the page. Enlighten our eyes with your Torah. Focus our minds on your mitzvot. Unite our hearts in love and reverence for your name. Then we will never feel shame, never deserve rebuke, and never stumble. Having trusted in your great and awesome holiness, we shall celebrate your salvation with joy. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to your land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us, truly. You drew us near to your great name, that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amu Yisrael ba'ahava. Good job. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you very much. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. You're up.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבניך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשופתך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטפות עין בעיניך וכתבתם על מסילות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר בני ישראל ואמרת אליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורתם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף בטיל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחריכם ואחריכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם
Elohechem emet. Very good.
Did you take a breath?
He always has a train to catch, you see.
Well done, Kai. Amy, we'll be done way before 1. We were having this conversation whether or not we'd be done by 12:30, whether we'd be done by 1 or 12. Hi, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Well done. And your grandparents are smiling. Smile, Eric. On page 239, Ken, thank you for the water. I'm well hydrated. I've got a little bit of water. I've got water here. I've got water. Actually, it's not water. It's Coke Zero. Just hidden in a coffee cup. I've got water there. Well, we've got a glass of water now for Ron Taft of blessed memory. If anybody was wondering why we have a picture of over here, it's not usual for us to have a picture of somebody in shul, but we decided to put in a picture of Dr. Ron Taft, AM, who was the founding president, the inaugural president of Temple David, who was laid to rest this week in Melbourne at the age of 103. So and we were very blessed that he sent a video through to us for our 70th anniversary, Temple David's 70th anniversary. So we thought it fitting that he join us for services this week for Shabbat services. Hillary will say a few words. Dr. Taft and Eric Silbert were dear friends. And so Hillary, when it comes to Kaddish, will say a few words about Dr. Taft. So that's why he is joining us for services this morning, just in his honor. So page 239, Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. Our song of freedom, Micha Mocha, on the next page.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai lai la 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 la. La lai 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 lai. Lai lai la 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 la. La lai 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 lai. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati Lord, oh Seifel. Norati Lord, oh Seifel. Shira chadasha, shepru geulim. L'simcha tzvatayam, yachad kulam. Hodu imlichu, ve'amru. Adonai imlach le'olam va'ed. Sur Israel, kuma bezrat Yisrael, uftei v'monecha, Yehuda v'Yisrael. Go aleinu, Adonai tzvot shemo, Kadosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
The Amidah on page 242.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufia gitelatecha. Adonai sefatai tifta ufia gitelatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ישמחו ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו ומלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שבי שבת, כולם יספרו ויתענגו מטובך שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ובשביל רצית בו וקידשת שבת. עמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We continue now with the prayers of our hearts, or the words of the page, and we'll come together with Oseh Shalom on page 260. And of course, I invite you, if standing is a hardship, to please have a seat, or once you have finished with your prayers, to please be seated. יהיו לרצון אמרי והגיון ליבי לפניך, Adonai tsuri v'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, ve'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. May God bring peace to the entire world. And let us say, Amen. So as we move into Seder Kriyat Torah, the order for reading of Shabbat on this Shabbat morning, we turn in our Sidurim to page 362. And I'd like to invite onto the bima to open our ark, Nina Ambrose, to hold our Torah, Lorraine. So if you would like to join us, as we come around the congregation, Judy Benaim will undress our Torah, so we'll pick you up as we come around. And Dan Parker will do our Torah translation. And Dan, you've mentioned that the translation of Lech Lecha is talking about war. So last week's Torah portion, Noach, talked about Hamas, had the word Hamas in it, which is so you saw my commentary in Machadash, and every rabbi I think I know spoke about that over Shabbat. For us it means destruction. It's an acronym in Arabic I don't know what it stands for, but it's an acronym for like a solidarity movement. But it's a positive word in Arabic for like victory and for fortitude. But for us it means destruction and desolation in Hebrew, so it's an opposite word. Not every word in Arabic and Hebrew where there's a similar is opposite. So for example, kelev, the word dog, in Arabic it's very similar, as is shalom, salam. So not everything has an opposite meaning. It just happens that the word Hamas does, of all the words. But this week, and we're talking about Lech Lecha, it's the Torah portion where Abraham tells God to go on a journey. And of course, what journey does he go to find the promised land, the land of Israel? So if you want to talk about, to be a little bit political, do you want to talk about Jews or Israelites being colonizers? That's a political debate. You can go back 5,000 years. We're not really colonizers. If you go back, you want to talk about, are we ethnic to the land? Probably, if you want to go back that far. All right, enough of that political conversation for right now. Mostly know how I feel. We'll move into Seder Kriyat Torah, page 362. Let's rise. love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is the gift to all who treasure it.
Moshe Natan Torah, Torah. Moshe Natan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael v'kedushato. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gadolu l'Adonai iti and romama shemo yachdav.
Lecha Adonai hagedula, hagevura, v'tiferet, v'hanetzach v'ha'od. Ki roel b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki roel b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai הממלכה המתנשא לכל ראש. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה. לא יישא גוי אל גוי חרב, לא ילמדו עוד מלחמה.
Thank you, Lorraine. Come over here. We may be seated. So just the parasha, as we know, is Lech Lecha, and Dan is going to be reading from chapter 14, verse 1. In the Plout, it's on page 94, and in JPS, it's on page
23.
23.
Okay. Now when King Amraphel of Shinar, King Arioch of Elasar, King Hador Laomer of Elam, and King Tidal of Goim made war on King Bera of Sodom, King Birsha of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Admah, King Shimaber of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All the latter joined forces at the valley of Siddim, now the Dead Sea. 12 years they served Hador Laomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. In the 14th year, Hador Laomer and the kings who were with him came and defeated the Rephaim at Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim at Ham, the Amim at Shaveh Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their hill country of Seir as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. On their way back, they came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and subdued all the territory of the Amalekites and also the Amorites who dwelt in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar, went forth and engaged them in battle in the valley of Siddim. King Hado Laomer of Elam, King Tidal of Goim, King Amraphel of Shinar, and King Arioch of Elisar, 4 kings against those 5. Now the valley of Siddim was dotted with bitumen pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah in their flight threw themselves into them, while the rest escaped to the hill country. The invaders seized all the wealth of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, the son of Abram's brother, and his possessions and departed, for he had settled in Sodom. Okay.
And now you get to hear that all in Hebrew. All those. Andrew? Correct me on all of those Hebrew names. So we call to the reading of Torah for our first Aliyah. Tamod Laliyah Torah Chana bat Esau Avraham ve'Esther. We call to the reading of Torah Harishon. Hilary Silbert. This is for our first Aliyah. So we're reading from chapter 14, verse 1. And as you can see, we are using the pink cover for the Torah. This is for
Barbie.
It's not for Barbie. It's not for Barbie. Hillary, of all people, I did not expect that to come out of your mouth. It's the Temple David breast cancer awareness for October, which is breast cancer awareness. It went missing for a while, but we found it thanks to Hillary. And so we might actually use it for a couple more weeks, even though it's for October. We need to make one for November. What would that look like?
Harry.
Let's not go there. I always open myself up to these things. That's where we're reading from.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam ba'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam ba'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Vehi b'mei Marfel melech Shinar arech melech Elsar Kedralamer melech Ilim v'Tidael melech Goyim asu milchama et Bara melech Sidom ואת ברשה מלך אמרי שינב, מלך אדמה, ושמעבר מלך שבים ומלך בלה, היא צער, כל אלה חברו, אל עמק הסידים הוא ים המלח, 10 שנה עבדו, את רלה אמר, 13 שנה, ומרדו ובמערבה 10 שנה, בה כדרלה אמר המלאכים אשר איתו, ויכו את רפאים ומאשתרת קרנאים, ואת הזכים בהם, ואת הירמיים ושבים כרתים, ואת החרי וההרים שעיר עד איל פרן אשר על המדבר, וישבו ויבוא אל אין משפט הוא קדש. I've gone too far, haven't I?
You have gone too far.
וייכו את כל שדה העמלקי וגם את המראה היושב בחצצון תמר. That'll do, Tamar.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natah batohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov Imotenu Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah. May the God of our ancestors bless you, Hillary, as you're called to Torah in honor of Torah, in honor of God, in honor of Shabbat, in honor of Pink, but in honor of a birthday, a special birthday, because every birthday is special that you are celebrating at this time. It's not for me to say, but I think there's a few 26 years till you reach 100.
Oh, about 46. 46.
46. It's not for me to say. Thank you for correcting me. I'm so sorry I got that wrong. May you be blessed with wonderful experiences this year, this coming year. May it be a year of shalom, of peace, because it needs to be a year of peace. May you be blessed with family and joy, good experiences, with love, with enrichment, lots of healthy plants and gardening, lots of coffee grinds and pods that open easily, and with all good things, and let us say, Amen. Mazel tov.
Thank you. Actually, can I share my birthday with this place, because on my birthday this sanctuary was opened, and I was an usher at that, and one of the founders, Kurt Gottschalk, knew it was my birthday, so he gave me my very first bunch of flowers, which was orange gerbras, and even the function centre was opened on my birthday.
No. Well, thank you for coming back and celebrating on your birthday. And so for our next Aliyah, we call to Torah, Yamod L'Aliyah HaTorah Benjamin ben Shmuel Udvora L'Aliyah HaSheni. We call to the reading of Torah, Alan Lee. And so we're continuing with verse. I don't know where we got up to. You're not doing your job.
Sorry.
Rude to me.
I was not. Yeah. Verse 8, where are we? Veshuvu. We started at verse 7.
Verse 8?
I know we're going back
Okay.
there.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvarach. Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. ויצא מלך סדום ומלך עמורה ומלך אדמה ומלך צבעים ומלך בלע הוא צער ויערכו אותה מלחמה בעמק הסדים את כדרלמר מלך אילים ותדעאל מלך גויים ומערפל מלך שנער ואריוך מלך אלעשר 4 מלכים את החמשה ועמק הסדים, בארעת חמור, דונקי? וניסי מלך סדום ועמרה, וימפלו שמה, ותנשארים הרה נישאו, ויקחו את כל רכש סדום. ועמרה ואת כל אכלם ויאכלו.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nita b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Alan, before I ask God's blessing upon you. You get to remember your mother, Denise. Would you like to say a few words about her?
Yeah, I would like to, thanks.
Please.
My mum passed away 19 years ago now, and it's quite daunting because next year I'll be the same age that she was when she passed away. So she died very young of cancer. It was very quick when they diagnosed her to only months after that she passed away. She was a great mother. She was very supportive. She was very much a family person. She also gave a lot to the Jewish community on the Gold Coast, where she lived most of her life, and well, the majority of her life when she was an adult. She belonged to a number of Jewish organisations and did a lot of good stuff for the community. So she was a really good role model, one I've never quite lived up to, but that's all right. That's what role models are for, and you know, I'm blessed that she was my mother, unfortunately for a shorter time than I would have liked.
May the God of our ancestors bless you, Alan, as you are called to Torah, in honor of God, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of your mother. You say that you don't live up to her, but you do, because look, you're involved in Temple David, as she was involved in organizations. The place that you care deeply about, as she cared deeply about her community. You give with your heart, you give with your soul, you give with your mind. You come so regularly, and this is your home. So you are living up to her standards. And yes, she was taken too soon from you. But she's with you now in your heart and your mind. And she's embracing you with love and with care and with compassion. And she's with you always. May you live a life with joy, knowing that you are living up to her in her role model. And you too are a role model for so many people. And with God's blessing, we say, Amen.
Thank you.
Come join us here. And so we call to Torah. Yamod, Lalia Torah, Michael ben Eliyahu, Verivka. We call to the reading of Torah for our third Aliyah, Michael Wise. And so Catherine, you're going to join.
Absolutely.
We're a job lot.
What's that word?
Start the first 11 for you.
There you go.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
ויקחו את כל רכש סדאום ועמרה ואת כל אוכלם, וילכו ויקחו את לוט ואת רכשו בן אחי אברהם, וילכו והוא ישבו בסדום, ויבוא הפלט ויגד לאברהם, ויעברי העברי, והוא שכן באלוני ממרא, והמרי אחי אשכול, ואחי הנער, והם באלוני בברית אברהם. Okay. Covenant of Abraham.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen.
Michael, you want to say a few words about your mom?
Excuse me. So,
I've been thinking about my mum a lot recently, particularly these times. These are hard times. And my mum lived through some very hard times. She nearly died in Belsen. And then from persecution, and then she almost died again when I was 8 and my brother was 2 from Golden Staff. And she survived. And as a result, she was immensely strong. She had absolutely no fear. None. And I think now the world is a narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to fear. So I think if I can be half that, I'll be doing very well indeed.
And the God of our ancestors, bless you, Michael, as your call to Torah, in honor of Torah, in honor of God, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of your mom. And Catherine's mom too. And as you stand here with Catherine at your side, and you shared the blessing, and you shared the life together, and having also, in a sense, a role model of a mother who went through so much, and thinking about what's going on in Israel right now and the experiences that your mum must have gone through in Bergen-Belsen, and those experiences.
And what's in Israel? Because after the war, they
went to Israel.
They left Israel. Michael was born there. They were very much involved in early times in Israel as well.
The story about my mother running guns for the Irgun is a story for another day.
I can only imagine what she must be thinking right now, and how proud she must be to see that you're involved in the continuity of Jewish life and the strength of Jewish life, and your passion, both of your passion for community and congregation, and raising Olden in this community, and ensuring that Am Yisrael Chai, that the Jewish people live, and how important that is. May you continue to be a blessing to this community and this congregation, and let us say, Amen. And I'm looking at both of you when I say that. You saw the eye contact.
It's all good.
So friends, let us take a moment in the presence of community to offer God's blessing upon those members of our community who are unwell. Let us think of Michael Bauman, Sarah Bauman, Beverly Crump, Hilary Garnelis, Steve Lee, Talia Raffaelli, Barbara Goldstein, John Maloney, Rosalind Moore, Cleve Parham, Colin Rockman, Steve Weintraub, Judith Arkwright, Terry Boyd, Sandy Samuel Dawson, Hazel Kittai, Robert Ellis, Norman Lazarus, all the victims of terror in Israel, around the world, and of course the hostages in Gaza. If you'd like to mention loved ones for healing, I invite you to share their names out loud or in your hearts at this time.
Robert Gillen and Arlene Mills.
Thank you. Baruch atah Adonai Rofet HaCholim. Blessed is God who brings healing to those who are unwell, strength to their caregivers, and strength to all those who are suffering at this time. And we say, Amen. We rise now for Hagbah and Glila as we lift and dress our Torah. And David, Flink, I'd invite you to lift our Torah, and Bernie, you will dress our Torah, and Andrew, you'll share our Haftarah. Andrew? You may be seated.
The Haftarah for Lech Lecha is taken from the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 27. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha b'nviim tovim, v'ratza v'divreihem, hanemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, haboche b'torah uf'Moshe avdo, u'v'Yisrael amo, u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Why, Jacob, do you say, and why, Israel, do you declare, my way is hidden from God, and my right is disregarded by my God? Have you not known, have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord and Creator of the ends of the earth, never faints or grows weary. No one can fathom the depth of his understanding. He gives power to the faint and strength to the weak. Even youths shall faint and be weary, and young men will fall exhausted. But they who wait for God will renew their strength. They will mount up with wings like eagles. They will run and not be weary. They will walk and not faint. Listen to me in silence, you islands. Let the peoples renew their strength. Let them approach. Then let them speak. Let us draw near one another for judgment. Who stirred up one from the east, whom victory meets at every step. He subjugates nations to him and makes kings submit to him. He renders them like dust with his sword, like driven stubble with his bow. He pursues them and goes on safely. He does not tread the way with his feet. Who performed and accomplished this? It was he who called the generations from the beginning. I, God, am the first, and with the last I am he. The islands saw and became afraid. The ends of the earth trembled. They grew near and became. Everyone helped his neighbor and said to his brother, "Take courage." The carpenter encouraged the goldsmith, and he who smooths with the hammer encouraged the one who strikes the anvil, saying of the soldering, "It is good." And he fastened it with nails, so that it would not be moved. But you, Israel, my servant Jacob, whom I have chosen, the offspring of Jacob, my friend, of Abraham, my friend, you who I took from the ends of the earth and called it from the utmost corners, saying to you, "You are my servant, I have chosen you and not rejected you. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I strengthened you, I help you, I uphold you with my victorious right hand. Behold, all who were incensed against you will be ashamed and confounded. Those who strove against you will be as nothing and will perish. You will seek those who contended with you, but you will not find them. They who warred against you will be as nothing at all. For I, God, your Lord, hold your right hand, saying to you, "Fear not, I help you. Fear not, you worm Jacob, you men of Israel. I am your help," says God, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I'm changing you to a new threshing sledge with sharp teeth. You will thresh the mountains, crush them, and make the hills like chaff. You will winnow them. The wind will carry them away, and the whirlwind will scatter them. You will rejoice in God. You will glory in the Holy One of Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol amim, tzadik b'chol hadorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'oseh, מקיים שכל דבריו, אמת וצדק, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הנביאים ועל יום השבת הזה, שנתת לנו, אדוני אלוהינו, לקדושה ולמנוחה, לכבוד ולתפארת. על הכל, אדוני אלוהינו, אנחנו מודים לך ומברכים אותך, יתברך שמך, בפי כל חי תמיד לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. Amen.
Amen. Shkoyach. Well done, Andy. So usually we would put the Torah away right now, but I asked David if he's comfortable with the Torah, and he says, yes, I could hold it for a few days, so he's fine. Just don't drop it, because then you can't eat, you know. So I mentioned earlier that I would talk about the ethics of war. We just talked about this in our Adult B'nai Mitzvah class the other night. And this is obviously from the Jewish perspective. So what are the ethics of war? And if I said to you that Israel was following the Jewish viewpoint from the ethics of war, what would you say to me? Tell me more. So you weren't in class, Catherine. You missed class. I heard you were at an art gallery. No, it wasn't. It was not a scheduled class. I would say that there are different views on the ethics of war. Now, we know that Israel has the right to defend itself. We keep hearing that. A nation has the right to defend herself. But that's fine. But what do we hear? What does Judaism say about what we might call a proactive strike, a preemptive strike? You know that a nation is going to attack you. You know that that nation is always going to attack you. And to go in and say, I'm going to, exactly what Israel is doing now. So does Israel have to what does Jewish law say about going into Gaza? Put your hand down for a minute, Bernie. We don't. I'll probably come to you. What does Jewish law say about going in to wipe out a military force that you know wants to kill you, right? So there are two concepts in Jewish law. One is called a milchemet mitzvah, what is known as a compulsory war. So the question is asked, what is considered a milchemet mitzvah? So this is known as war against 7 nations. What are the 7 nations? These are the ones we just read about. Right? It just so happens it fits with this week's parasha. Known as the war against Amalek. Right? These are the wars. So who was Amalek? Amalek was considered the heinous of the people, because when Israel went to war against Amalek, Amalek was the person who came, he cut down the weak, the elderly, the disabled. He didn't go into battle fighting the soldiers. He did so this is in the Torah. He went from the back and he cut down the most vulnerable people. Right? So this is a compulsory war. You have to go after the people who will go after your weak, your vulnerable. Okay? So this is a war. The Milchemet Mitzvah is a war to assist defending Israel from an army which you know is going to attack you. So is this what Israel is doing right now, according to Torah, according to Jewish law? Right? After you've done this, you may, according to Jewish law, be involved in what is known as a milchemet reshut, which is translated as an authorized war, And this is what is problematic. Right? This is what is problematic. This is a war fought with other nations in order to expand the borders of Israel or magnify the greatness or reputation. So this is where, remember the 6-day war? Golan Heights, Sinai Peninsula. If we went in and took over all of Lebanon, if we went in and took over all of Syria, if we went in and took over all of Iran or Iraq and said, this is now Israel, Greater Israel, that's problematic, right? Does Israel want to do that? No. Well, I think some people might, but I don't even think our ultra-religious who want. There are some who say Shtei Gadot. What's Shtei Gadot, Michael? Both sides of the Jordan River. Because there are some who believe that the other side of the Jordan River, which is Jordan today, is Israel, is Greater Israel. We don't believe that. There are some who believe that Gaza is Israel. There are some who believe the whole West Bank is Israel. So there are some who will say, no, it's not just enough to have that milchemet mitzvah, the war to protect Israel from being attacked, and this is being attacked also in the future, but that we must also wage what is known as that milchemet reshut, an authorized war to expand territory. Now, I think many of us would say, yes, the first one is okay, and many of us would say the second one is not okay, and that's where we would draw the line. The challenge is that also Jewish law also does talk about hostages. Jewish law also talks about non-combatants and collateral damage. Jewish law does talk about that. Jewish law, and what Israel is doing right now with Gaza, and you see my hands, this in my head, I'm imagining Gaza. You can, according to Jewish law, so Gaza is obviously, you've got the water on one side, and Israel surrounds Gaza on two other sides. So the north, the eastern border, and the water. So the southern part of Gaza, it's not a perfect border, is Egypt. So Israel has said refugees, hypothetically, can go into Egypt. Egypt has said no. Egypt is keeping the Rafah border closed. Why? Egypt doesn't want to create within their own country, nation state, they don't want to create a refugee crisis. Right? That's their situation. Israel is permitted to keep those borders, according to Jewish law, closed to not allow Palestinian refugees or Hamas terrorists, which may filter in through refugees into Israel. In any war, there's going to be collateral damage. But as we know, what makes this situation in Israel heinous, in Gaza heinous, is the use of civilians as human shields. And this is, we just don't know how to, I don't know how to even comprehend how this is imaginable, and I think we're all on the same page with that. The other thing that I struggle with in general is when people talk about proportionality. How do we equate one life for another life? We can't. A human life is sacred. And we talk about, and we know that the numbers coming out of Gaza are not necessarily true numbers. But we know there are innocent civilians that are being killed. We also know that within those numbers coming out of Gaza are also the numbers that include the terrorists. But we just don't know where the truth is. It's just, whatever the truth is, it's tragic. We also know that Israel has to defend itself. We cannot have this again, never, never again. What we do want is for this to stop. We want our hostages home. There's a rally on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Unfortunately, I cannot be there, and the reason why I cannot be there is because I'm doing a baby naming of a Jewish baby. So it's, where do I go? I want to be in both places at once, but as the Yiddish saying goes, Carl, you can't dance at 2 weddings with 1 tuchus. I don't know I can't say it in Yiddish, but that's how it goes. So there's no right or wrong answer. All I know is that Israel has to survive. Our homeland has to survive. I think the army and the government in Israel is damned if they do and damned if they don't right now. If they go in, if they don't go in, they're going to be criticized. The world media is going to criticize them, regardless of what they choose to do. I wish I had answers. I don't. But I do know that the IDF will do the best that they can do, because their principles are based in Jewish ethics. They're going to be perfect? No. No army is. But I do know that they will not go out to target children. They will not go out to target innocent civilians. That is not their mandate, unlike Hamas. And I think that therein lies the distinction of what are ethics. Not just Jewish ethics, but human ethics. And we need to stay hopeful. We need to stay positive, because there is a lot of hope. There is a lot of positivity. And we need to trust ourselves and trust what we believe, and stick together and support one another during this very, very difficult time. There's a lot to look forward to. Kai, you've got a bar mitzvah coming up in a couple of weeks, and that is one of the most positive things and life-affirming things that we can enjoy and look forward to in the life of community, because that is Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom. I was thinking, Yep, we're going to return the Torah to the Ark. We are on page 300 and
74.
374. But before we do that, I'm going to invite Judith Schneider to share the prayer for Israel for us. If I could ask you all to please rise. It's good, it's fine.
Prayer for the state of Israel. O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love. Spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Grant them deliverance and adorn them in a mantle of victory. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
Amen.
Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Let there be peace in your homes, safety within your borders. For the sake of my people, my friends, I pray you find peace. For the sake of the house of the eternal our God, I will seek your good.
Amen. Catherine, if you could please come up and open our ark for us. Page 374. כי לכך טוב נתתי לכם, תורתי אל תעזוב. And so as we move forward to the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, Nina, you didn't want to say anything, did you? Lorraine, I know you wanted to say something about your sister, if you'd like to come up. And Dan, you wanted to say something? No, you've changed your mind. Michael, you've already spoken. Alan, you've spoken. Hillary, you're going to share a few words about, if you'd like to come up, about, if everybody would like to take a seat for a moment. Go ahead.
My sister Helen, my only sibling, was 7 years younger than me, and relevant that we have the pink Torah covering. Helen, at 29, diagnosed with breast cancer, which moved to her brain, and at age about 28 or 29, Helen died. However, she had 3 children, the youngest being Lance, my nephew. And the brain is a strong organ. Helen was already in hospice. Hospice know how to deal with the dying, and it was her son's bar mitzvah in about 3 weeks. So they put a calendar next to Helen's head, and every day crossed off one further day, and she had a goal. And on that Saturday, Helen was carried into shul, upstairs, because that's where her mother and her daughters and her sister sat. She was there. It was a luncheon, and people came to say goodbye, and Helen died on the Tuesday.
Oh.
Thank you.
May her memory be a blessing. No, Dan doesn't want to say.
Okay. Ron Taft, whose photo we've got here, he was born in 1920 in Russia, and by 1950, so 30 years old, he came to Western Australia and was a senior lecturer in the psychology department at UWA. So his job, his career path very much affected Temple David, as he was one of the major founders of this place. So he was our inaugural president from 1952 to 1957. So I've just got memories of being with the Taft family, all 3 generations worth. One of them, the Tafts brought visiting professor Zelman Cowan to our holiday cottage at Palm Beach for the day. My parents, Eric and Joan Silbert, were friendly with Zelman Cowan's in-laws, Dora and Jaime Whitner. So as some of you know, Zelman Cowan went on to be the very first Jewish Governor General, and I think he was a congregant of Rabbi Kim. Dad used to travel to board meetings with Ron. So Ron was president and Dad was vice president, as we all lived near each other. The Taft's house in Claremont was magnificent. If you're into architecture, it was a Marshall Clifton design, so it was quite exquisite. Even as a child, I remember the beautiful lines of the building and lovely furnishings and artefacts. The Taft and Silbert children went to the same secondary schools. We even met Ron's mother-in-law, Ellen's mother, Marty, and we even had a named dish, which we called Fish Ellen, after Ellen Taft. Ron left WA in rather a common way, as in it was to seek advancement in his career as an academic, because he was quite young and the people above him were also quite young. He also had started a program on immigrants in 1953 in WA and continued for 30 years, for a little bit at University of Melbourne and then a very long time at Monash Faculty of Education. The program on the psychology of immigrants was one of the first in the world. So he's worth looking up, his career. I had the absolute delight. In 2011, I went to Melbourne for a Australia-wide Israeli dance workshop, and Barbara, his oldest and only daughter, found me amongst the 250 dancers and invited me to Shabbat dinner, and it was wonderful that Ron was there for that, in that occasion.
Beautiful, thank you. Yeah, I had the privilege of getting to know Ron a little bit in the lead up to the 70th, having spoken to Temple David's 70th, and speaking to him a few times, and which was really lovely. He was with it right until the end at 103. It was amazing. May their memories truly be for a blessing, and so we remember our congregants and friends of our congregants. For the Shiva, we remember Samantha Wall, Marion Pathy Johns, and Ron Taft. And for the Shloshim we rise. And for the Shloshim remember Ruth Avasar, Bernadette Clegg, friend of Ray Frindley, Marilyn Crew, Beverly Green, David Chiswell, friend of Bernie Williams, Joseph Goldberg, Otto Grossman, and Alice Shelby, and all the victims of the terror attack on October 7, some who were laid to rest as part of the Shloshim, and some who are still being laid to rest as part of Shiva. And the Yartzites, the anniversaries of whose death, fall on this Shabbat, Parashat Lech Lecha. Joan Cohen, mother of Anthony Ingram, Denise Lee, mother of Alan, Victoria Parker, stepmother of Dan Parker, Eva Wise, mother of Michael, Myrtle Carey, aunt of Ray Findley, Orwell Edward Phillips, father of Bruce, Helen Miller, sister of Lorraine Sivan, Kay Jackson, mother of Nina Ambrose. If you'd like to share the name of a loved one for Shiva, for Shloshim, for Yahrzeit, I invite you to share their names out loud or in your hearts at this time. And Mel, we recognize the passing of your mother recently as well. Zecher Tzadik Livracha. May the memory of the righteous be for a blessing as we join together and stand with one another. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yamad divrach hirtei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, v'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'meru.
Amen.
Yahei Shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, Yitzadar v'yitzaleh v'yitzalal Shemei d'Kodesha b'reichu, le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran v'yalma v'yimaru.
Amen.
Yahei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimur.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, u'yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimur.
Amen.
Hamakom yinachem echem b'toch sha'ah havlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved in Zion and Jerusalem and around the world. And we say,
Amen.
Amen. Just before we head out into Kiddush, just a couple of brief announcements. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock there is the Bring Them Home rally at St. James's Street Amphitheatre. That's at 12 o'clock. And of course our annual general meeting, I know you can't all wait to come along and be part of it, at 4 o'clock, 71st. Monday there is Mahjong at 12, and what was forgotten on the Wednesday, there is Israeli dancing at 6:30. So put on your dancing shoes on our new floor and come along. I'm not going to go through everything. There was a lot. You saw it all in Machadash. But if you love to bowl, come along and for the Mitzvah Day, join the Temple David team. Lawn bowls, not 10-pin, lawn bowls. If you don't know how to bowl, you can learn at 9 o'clock. Registration's at 9 o'clock. It only takes half an hour to learn how to bowl and become a pro.
It's not a competition, it's just for fun. So
no, but if I hear that you have had the pork option for lunch, I'll be very disappointed in you. I want to also wish David Flink, Mazel Tov on your birthday this week. You had a very special birthday. 21 today. Tomorrow. Your birthday's tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow. Yes. Happy birthday. Our final song is Kol Haolam Kulo Geshet Tzah Me'od, page 643.
Kol Haolam Kulo Geshet Tzah Me'od, Geshet Tzah Me'od, Geshet Tzah Me'od. Kol Haolam Kulo Geshet Tzah Me'od, Geshet Tzah Me'od. V'ha'ika, lo lefachad klal. V'ha'ika, lo lefachad klal. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzah me'od, geshet tzah me'od, geshet tzah me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzah me'od, geshet tzah me'od.
The whole world is a very narrow
bridge.
So the whole, it's opposite when you do it in English. very narrow bridge. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's go through for Kiddush. Thanks for joining us.